We've often said here on the show, haven't we, just how petulant Prince Harry can be. And we've seen this with the endless speeches about mental health and the difficulties, which of course affect every single one of us. But more importantly, do we need to keep making videos reminding everybody just what a difficult life you can have when you're a multi-millionaire with £1 million deals just coming through your letterbox, seemingly on a daily basis for doing simply also no work. But what is interesting really is the sheer sort of hypocrisy of how it works around Harry and Meghan's team. Now, as we've told you before here on the show, they've got a very expensive publicity machine team around them, and seemingly when they're ready, despite them not enjoying the world of social media and it being toxic, they're more than happy for all their product to be streamed and screened across all of these platforms. But the other side of the coin is simply a lot darker, and let me explain the reasons why. It's interesting, isn't it? Just last night over here on ITV, the commercial television channel, we had a wonderful documentary celebrating the 75th birthday of our wonderful Queen consort in waiting, Camilla. Now, it's a divided topic, obviously, and it was one that was a very thorny issue during the, well, shall we say, filming of this. But what's more interesting is we got to see the real Camilla. We kind of got to see the person that made her tick. And if you look back in history, of course, it's not her fault how things planned out. This was the way that the monarchy was ruled way back in that particular time. But did you notice this coming from Prince Harry's camp? You must have seen the deluge of PR that suddenly come out the moment, of course, this documentary was announced. First of all, we had the detail that sadly his book was now going to be delayed, and we're not quite sure exactly how or how long or whatever. And then, of course, just on timing, we had the video from Better Up, which he was once again explaining all about mental health. And if that wasn't enough, we also had the planned speech over in New York next week. As you can see, that's 3 whammies all labelled directly to try and get the media exposure for someone, really, when in normal royal terms you would step back if another senior member of the monarchy was doing something of high profile. Now, as we know, Prince Harry's not of high profile monarchy anymore. He chose to move away from that particular life. But of course he would have access to exactly what was planned and how it was planned, and also more importantly, he would have seen these particular events being played out across the media here in the UK and around the world regarding Camilla. Insiders tell me that this is no real sort of coincidence. It's more a case of making sure that he takes focus off Camilla, and this is someone we are told, and as ever we have to say allegedly on the show, that he still holds a lot of disregard for, and I'm putting that mildly. Now, the other side of the coin as well is, as we've often mentioned here on the show, how Camilla will come out in that forthcoming memoir, should it ever come out. But I think in the battle of the PR right now, I would say that Camilla is winning because she's dignified, gracious, respectful, and actually doing some very good work on behalf of the British monarchy for so many of her charities. Right now, could you really say the same for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle? Their recent accounts prove that they basically made nothing for their Archewell Foundation, all the while raking in millions of pounds for their own products, their own deals themselves. Wisely, they could have been advised to maybe donate some of those millions into the charity to show willing. As yet, that's simply not been the case. What does appear to be the case is that each and every time something serious or significant comes up over here from any member of the British monarchy, there bangs Harry and Meghan with yet another PR campaign. Or as ever, is it just me? Neil Sean in the very heart of London.